Welcome back to Wicked Inc. Originals, your Saturday night destination for original horror stories. Turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and listen closely, because tonight's tale might just haunt your dreams. Tonight's story. The Forest Whispers Your Name. Blackwood was a town that wore its history like a secret wound, small, lakeside, and caught between old traditions and the surge of tourists each summer. The forest that hugged its outskirts was ancient, tangled, and more than a little feared. Locals avoided it at night, whispering of curses that tangled in the roots, of an old power that could turn trees into watchers and leaves into whispers. Mara and her friends, Luke, Jenna, and Tom, had grown up hearing those stories. Folktales, they'd said. Superstition. But on the last night of their summer break, looking for something more than the usual parties and crowded bars, they decided to test their courage. They planned a camping trip deep inside Blackwood Forest, just beyond the sleepy lakeside town. They arrived just before sunset, carrying backpacks heavy with supplies, laughter buzzing between them like electricity. The lake glimmered quietly through the thinning trees, reflecting the last slivers of sunlight. The air smelled of pine and damp earth, a scent so sharp and real, it felt like breathing in the forest breath itself. They pitched their tents in a small clearing near the water's edge, the perfect mix of shelter and view. Tom sparked a fire, its glow flickering orange across their faces, while Luke pulled out a guitar and strummed a few chords. The night was warm, but the forest seemed to press in around them, its silence deeper than expected. As the fire crackled, Mara felt a sudden chill. It started as a sound almost too soft to catch, a whisper, faint and teasing, brushing against the leaves. Ra. She blinked, turning her head sharply toward the trees. The others were laughing, telling an exaggerated ghost story, but Mara's skin prickled. "Did you hear that?" she asked, voice low. "Hear what?" Luke smiled, but his eyes flicked toward the dark line of trees nervously. "The whisper, like it said my name." "Probably just the wind messing with you," Jenna teased, but she looked uneasy. As darkness folded over the forest, the whispers came again, softer now, but clearer, like the trees themselves were trying to speak. Nah. Mara's heart thudded. Jenna stiffened, scanning the shadows. Tom threw another log on the fire, the flames roaring louder, but the whispering didn't stop. "Lou. Tom." They looked around, panic threading through their voices now. But no one was there. Just the forest, thick and waiting. Mara tried to steady her breath. "It's just your imagination." But the forest wasn't just a collection of trees tonight, it felt alive, watching, hungry. Suddenly, Jenna stood up, eyes wide. "I'm going to get some water." The group nodded, but Mara noticed the hesitation in her friend's steps as she walked away from the fire, toward the lake's shimmering edge. Minutes passed. Jenna didn't return. "Jenna?" Mara called softly, standing. Luke grabbed a flashlight and followed, with Tom close behind. The beam cut through the blackness, illuminating trees that seemed to lean closer with every step. The water's surface shimmered unnaturally, reflecting not just the moon but something deeper, darker. Then, a sound, a splash. "Jenna!" Mara's voice cracked, her fear blooming wild and raw. The flashlight flickered, then went out. Darkness swallowed them. The whispers grew louder, surrounding Mara like a shroud. Nah. Luke's voice echoed, distant and desperate, calling her name before fading into a strangled silence. Panic seized Mara's chest. The forest wasn't letting them go. The ancient curse wasn't a story, it was a warning. Back at the campsite, Mara and Tom stumbled through the thick brush, the shadows twisting like living things. The whispers chased them, each breath of wind carrying a name, a promise, a threat. They reached the fire, now reduced to embers. "Where's Luke?" Mara gasped. Tom shook his head, eyes wide. The forest hummed with power, as if the trees themselves were whispering secrets older than time. Mara realized the water, the lake, was more than a mirror in the moonlight. It was a portal. A place where the forest's wrath seeped into the world of the living. She knew they were outsiders, trespassing on sacred ground. And the forest was ready to claim what was owed. Alone now, with the whispers crawling into her mind, Mara stood at the edge of the water. The voice was close, intimate. Cold fingers brushed her skin, the ancient curse wrapping tight around her soul. The forest had whispered her name. And now, it would never let her go. Thank you for listening to Wicked Inc. Originals. If you survived this story, be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your fellow brave souls. Until next Saturday, keep your lights on, and your fears closer.